One here back with another Splinterlands video. So let's talk about Runi. It's been playable for a couple days now. I made a previous video about how to stake your Runi to get it into the game as a playable card. So if you missed that, go check it out on my channel. Now let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about the economics of Runi, so how the market's shaped up thus far. Let's talk about the gameplay of Runi. So I have some gameplay analysis. I have 4 battles. Runi gameplay isn't that complicated, right? It's a neutral opportunity monster, which by itself is super valuable. But there are some specific things with Runis that make them particularly valuable in certain types of rule sets and battles. And so I'm going to show 4 matches in which I believe that is the case. But before we get into that, just a reminder, I am Hawks21 and I cover Splinterlands here on the channel. I know we're in the midst of a bear market, but it's the perfect time, in my opinion, to start playing the game. If you have dry capital and you're looking for something to do, prices are incredibly low right now compared to historically. That is not financial advice. It's just sort of my opinion and observation. So if you've been on the fence looking to get in the game, do I know when this bear market will be over? Nope. It could be months, could be years. But I'll be here posting through it all, playing the game, dissecting the economy. If that type of content interests you, you are in the right place, and I would encourage you to join the community by subscribing to the channel. Okay, let's get into it. So, the attention around Runi, the Runi mint specifically, I would say left a lot to be desired. It was supposed to be this huge push into the Ethereum ecosystem, and I would go out on a limb to say most of the people who purchased Runi were people already playing the game, myself included. Now, what that led to was an initial count of 10,000 were supposed to be minted. By the end of the mint, a little over 3,500, as you can see here, had been minted. So obviously a little disappointing on that front. However, if you are someone that owns a Runi or multiple Runis, this to me is amazing, right? There are not enough Runis for people. That is abundantly clear. And you can sort of see it a little bit in the price that we'll take a look at. So if we come here to analytics, my computer ever wants to load, there we go. You see the last 7-day floor price since Runi's come into the game. We had consistently dropped post mint date. I would say people were a little disappointed. But since you could start using them in the game, we've ticked up from a low of 0.2 ETH all the way up to 0.28, around this area where we've been for a while now. So we've certainly had a leg higher. I mean, I don't know if that's going to continue, but as the game continues to grow and more people become interested in it, this is going to become a rare item that's very powerful that people are going to want. So do I wish this brought a ton of OpenSea people into the game? 1,000%, obviously. But the aftermath of that basically means I have something that's super, super, super rare that I like using in game. That's awesome for me on a selfish level and, selfishly for other Runi holders. So let's get into the battles. There's going to be across a couple gold battles, a couple diamond battles, and it's going to be across a few different types of rule sets. So let's talk about this one first. It is a low mana, no shield, reverse speed. So you can play Runi without batting an eyelash for the most part in normal speed rule sets, just given the True Strike. It'll attack last, which leaves a lot to be desired, or around last because it's a melee with 1 speed. But you don't have to worry about it missing at least. But reverse speed, obviously, a lot of the times Runi's going to be attacking first or nearly first. You combine that with 2 things here. The no shield. So at first you might say, hey, Runis have 1 armor normally, as you can see right here. Runis normally have an armor. we're taking away that armor. Why is that bad? It can be bad, but when you combine it with something like Possibilis, with the trample, you now have a Runi that's going to attack early, attack the weakest monster on the opponent's team, and trigger a trample without having to worry about the shield or any potential shield. So you're going to see this a little bit here. Normally, Uraeus has a shield, so when it's time to trample Uraeus, you don't have to worry about that shield, and you can hit it. It's going to take away one turn from you having to hit Uraeus. Let's just play this out, and you can see how powerful it is. We hit that first one right to the trample. As you can see, it attacks first, which is great. And then we're also getting the reach attack here. So it got poisoned, so you're like, oh, well, this is sort of a done case right here, right? We do get the heal, which is nice. With the reverse speed 2, you've got to be worrying about misses. That one miss was huge for us. So now we're going to get rid of the Spirit Hoarder and trample onto Uraeus. Now here's where the Self-Resurrect comes back into play. And now we only need one more shot to get rid of the Uraeus. If the Uraeus had the shield there, we would have been in trouble. And then the double attacks up front from my two little guys, just because of the reach, really got, how can I remember, Tusk the Wide, really low health, and Runi finishes the job. So reverse speed, no shield, add in the trample. Runi's very, very powerful. Single-handedly carried me to a win in that match. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Here we have a blast rule set, normal speed. So again, not super complicated why Runis are great in blast rule sets. They have opportunity, so they're going to normally attack unless they bring a taunt monster somewhere in this back line, causing blast damage to go everywhere. Second, has the reflection shield, so it's not going to taste blast damage itself. So what I'm able to do is bring two opportunity monsters on this blast rule set, and look who it is again, Possibilis. I just had a video come out on use cases for Possibilis, and since then, I've been winning more and more matches by more strategically using him. And here's another use case. So that's 2 in a row with Possibilis. Let's just take a look at this. And we'll watch the dual opportunity damage. Now, this is a normal speed one, right? So it's really slow. But it's not going to matter because it has the true strike. Bakjira plus Possibilis, giving it 19. But look, it doesn't take any blast damage. So that's nice. Now we get things cooking with our opportunity monsters. So we already have Uraeus down to where Uraeus is going to be eliminated via poison. Just bringing these two reflection shield monsters, and the blast damage basically doesn't matter for my opponent. That was a big hit right there. And then my Runi comes, finishes it off. Now both of their damage dealers are mostly done. We trigger the trample, which is nice. And it's just this double opportunity attack, and they can't really do much damage to me. I'm telling, I think people are sleeping on Possibilis. There are tons of rule sets where having this trample, I think we overpowered them in general on this one, but just having that 2 health with the trample makes a huge difference. Here it's just going to mean we end the game faster. But Runi in blast damage alongside another opportunity monster, that's a tough combination to beat. Okay, let's move on to the third one. So the last two are going to be similar rule set types. And this is one of my favorite times to use the Runi. Oh, what do you know? Another Possibilis. This is not a Possibilis video. That was my last one. But it's going to be 3 wins here with Possibilis. Now, the last two are going to be poison rule sets. Let's talk about this. So, this one's in gold, as you can see, the level 3. You might think, oh, he only has 5 health, 7 with Possibilis, but that's not a lot of health. So, it's going to die from the poison. And it is going to die from the poison. It's going to die from the poison, now, I guess, in 4 turns. Why don't I care? I don't care because it has Rebirth. The top ability right there. When this monster dies, it will self-resurrect with 1 health once per battle. If you don't know, when a monster is resurrected, specifically when it's poisoned, it loses poison. So the Runi is going to self-resurrect itself and come back not poisoned. So it basically becomes, immune in the back line. It gives itself almost like immunity after it dies from poison the first time. And you'll see this play out. Now, why is that particularly good here? Well, it comes back with 1 health. So it's going to come back also enraged, which means it'll be hitting for 5 once it comes back. I don't actually remember if the Runi actually dies on this one. It must, but you'll see it in action. So here we go. Another one with the Bakjira Possibilis combination. Hewitt's going to be upset that I'm talking about Bakjira. He's one of my members. He refuses to buy the whale because he thinks it's too powerful. And here I am sort of just showing it off. So now look, it's enraged. They have the shield, which is annoying, right? So I'm not really able to trigger, big tramples or anything. Here we go. And at first I was like, oh, this might go to fatigue here, right? Because the Runi, I wasn't even thinking about the Rebirth. This was the first poison one I tried it in. And I can only do 1 damage, right? Now here we go. I was like, oh no. Am I going to win here in fatigue? Nope. Self-Rebirth no longer takes poison. There's a huge speed differential here, but I don't need to worry about missing because of the True Strike. What is annoying, obviously, is with the Enrage, I'm hitting for 5. So with the Force Field on the Jin Oshanis, I can only do 1 damage. So it takes a lot of turns. But you can see how this plays out. I'm going to speed it up real quick. Very, very powerful in poison rule sets. And I'm going to show another specific poison rule set as the last game. It's an awesome time to play a Rune. But Self-Resurrect, very, very powerful in poison rule sets. Okay, and this last one finishes them off. Okay, last battle. So this is a diamond level battle. What do we have here? Let's take a look. So poison, this used to be my, it probably still is, one of my least favorite combinations. When you get poison, a lot of times you try to bring, heals, triages, and that type of stuff. The poison no heal combination is always a challenging one. It basically says, all right, you gotta bring immunity monsters, you gotta bring scavenge monsters, you gotta bring repairs. But the main thing is immunity monsters. And you can see we kind of did similar strategies. There's not a lot of immunity monsters, but they tried to hide their immunity monster in the back line, hoping it would outlast all of my monsters, and by the time I got to the front, it would be too powerful for me to do anything with. I just tried to fill as many as I could, right? I have the Harclaw here, I have the Revealer, which has immunity, and what do you know? I effectively have immunity here with the Runi. So this just gives me another option in this type of rule set where by the end of it, I'd be able to have these 3 right here, not taking any damage via poison, all attacking. So let's see how it plays out. We both go with Lux. The Radiated Brute is a good play here in the second position in poison. Let's go a little fast. In the second position because it has the Enrage, so as soon as it takes poison damage, it's going to get boosted. They played this really well. But just wait till the Runi gets in action. Now we're taking poison. Let me see if I can speed this back up without going crazy. There we go. There we go. Radiated Brute gets enraged. And, they kind of just have this whole situation sitting here with the Forgotten One inches closer to the front, where if you don't have enough damage left out there, the Forgotten One will just run through your team. So it's crucial that before your guys get eliminated, you can get some damage in on the Forgotten One. So we're the Lyra, the Dark's doing some work. We're hitting some stuns, which is nice. And the Runi doesn't have to worry about the dodge on the back line. And here you go. Runi is eliminated. Self-resurrect. No longer poisoned. And we're slowly running out of damage here. It's retaliating. It's doing a ton of damage. Actually gets to retaliate there. But at this point, right, we had done enough damage. The Runi just hit it for 4. That was a big 4 damage. I don't think it would have got through it regardless. But just to show off that dynamic where if you're in a special type of poison situation where, you don't have any heal, the Runi could make a big, big difference. Okay, that's the last one I have for you today. I've loved using my Runi, which again is not surprising. It's a very powerful card. And what in the beginning might have been, a little disappointment, I think is going to turn out to make the Runi a fantastic investment. That is just my opinion. It is not financial advice. I'm super happy I use a Runi. I'm, hoping to find some other rule sets where it works particularly well, but, overall, a neutral opportunity monster with True Strike, what is there not to like? All right. Thanks for being here. Again, if you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will talk to you guys soon and see you around the game.